additions to my case here is you'll notice I've got a monome Ansible, and then I've got a monome walk. If you don't know what those modules do, the monome Ansible basically acts a lot like the white whale. It's a step sequencer that hopefully you can see this down here. And so basically I put the stock firmware on the white whale, and then Ansible is running the Kria firmware. And so right now I've been experimenting between using the white whale as like kind of just like a sequencer, not like a step sequencer, like, you know, basically sending a divided clock from Ansible to white whale, so that way it like slowly steps. And then also been trying out, right now what I'm trying the white whale as the master clock, clocking Ansible, because I don't really like how you adjust the tempo with Ansible, though it is more accurate. I just kind of like grabbing this knob and setting my tempo, which I guess that's fine. Okay, then this has turned out to be an absolute all-star, which is the mutable instrument links, and it's basically just a multiple that goes a lot of different directions. So one of the things I'm doing is I'm taking the kick envelope and I'm splitting it off three ways. One is going to the pitch, and so I have a pitch envelope, and then I'm also creating like a negative of the envelope too, so that way I can cross chain. So one of the cool things is, so let's say if I turn the kick all the way down right now, and I also have a bass line going. So if you notice, there's a pulsing there. So let's take the So anyways, that's a trick that I like to do, like kind of as a do a side chain compression basically between my kick drum and whatever my bass is. So I'm using the Mangrove as my bass, and I'm using the Korgasmatron as my kick drum sound right now. Another thing that I need to flesh this out like a little more and a little better. I've been thinking about getting a multiple and putting it down here, so that way I can do like a dry wet or parallel effects with the spring reverb. So the spring reverb sounds great. Right, so right now I'm just doing 100% wet for the spring reverb, and I'm just actually using this because I'm only sending one or two things to the spring reverb. So once I start putting multiple things in there, then I probably need to build out a little bit of a, you know, a wet dry configuration where, you know, you have the dry signal going out and then you just add in the wet signal just to dry, I guess, like with a lot of these like synth sounds, or especially like just the plain old oscillators, they generally need some effects. Okay, so one thing that is really, really cool, so the ISMS has this really cool mixer section, and so the way I'm using it right now, I absolutely love this. And so basically I have, so my kick drum here, that's not what I wanted to do, this one. So I have the kick drum here, and so one of the things I can do is if I swap over to, so if I hit the switch, it actually swaps between the Ansible and the white whale. So if I come over here to the white whale, what I can do is if I turn on, I think I have it in gate mode, no I don't, okay. If I turn this on gate mode, when this top one, or when this top trigger for the white whale is active, then it will lit this second row here through to where it'll also trigger the kick drum. I'm not sure why it's not doing that right now though. I think it's because I have it muted. Hold on. kind of like a way of making it a little more complex. And so we can also like sequence when we want that to come in. So right now we can probably do it for more, right? So let's just I don't know, kind of get a little bit of like randomness going along with it. So the cool thing though is if I just want to turn it on permanently, or I think if I just want to mute it permanently, I can just hit the walk. So I have this on the toggle, and so what's cool here is so I have the gate from the white whale just sent to just coming out of like this mixing section, and it goes to basically a VCA that it'll mute or lit the signal through, depending on whether or not that this is lit up. So the cool thing about this mixing section is there is like a negated input that basically will cancel out whatever this is. So I can always, as long as I toggle this on, no matter what the status of this row is, it will always mute. It's a little counterintuitive because this light being on basically means mute for like the extra kick shenanigans. So the other thing that I was experimenting with, do something cool like this. Right, so that cuts it off, and then so the other thing I was experimenting with was holding it. Anyways, so there's also like a momentary, so if you hold it down, and my idea was when I hold it down, I want it to do that. Yeah, this is kind of cool if you see what's happening. So what I'm going to do is like, so I'm playing, I'm jamming, I want things to get more intense, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the foot switch. And then whenever I let off of it, I get a more complex one, and then if I ever want to shut it up, I just hit the foot switch again. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. walk, really cool. Perfect for if you play and you need to trigger changes. This is the way I do it. I'm interested to see how other people do it. So just leave me a comment and down in the section and link me to your video. I'd love to see how specifically how people sequence on smaller rigs. So I've seen videos with like Colin Bender and other people, and they have these huge setups and they do multiple tracks of sequencing, which is where I kind of got this idea for doing the multiple, for having two kick tracks basically, like on Kria. I'm interested to see how other people do sequencing. So